Hello and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Warsim, and this is Mercenaries. So, Mercenaries, especially in the early game, are a very, very useful and important tool of Warsim. So in this instance, we see that there are 5 different mercenary groups that have spawned. One of them is a group of goblins and the others are all generically human. So when you start any new game in Warsim, there will be a random batch of mercenary groups that are spawned in, and you're not the only one that can use them, but you have first dibs on your turn. So we can see a bit of information about these groups. We can see their names, we can see how much it costs to hire them, and how much it costs to hire them per year. And we also get an extra option at the end to put out a call for more groups. So we'll just look at the immense 7 blades to begin with. And immediately there's a lot of information we're hit with, but one important thing to note is they've got a little special asterisk there for they're available for hire. However, they charge 3,060 gold for invasion to cover the risk involved. So it already costs 3,060 to hire them once, but they also charge that additionally for an invasion, whereas the Duskmen do not. So with the Duskmen, you'd only pay that 1,000. Now, one thing that's important to do when you're looking at a mercenary group is to figure out how strong they are by assessing them. So in this case, they're not very good. They've got 60 battle score per unit. Now, if we go back to the 7 blades, 127, so they're pretty good. And this does vary. It's always worth looking at shopping around and learning information about them. So if we were to hire them, we have options. We can provide them soldiers and grow them in strength, making them stronger and easier to fight. We can fire them, we can request them cease to operate as a mercenary group, or we can attempt assimilation. These are all new options. So attempting assimilation, we were luckily successful here. Their leader turns into a knight and the rest are soldiers, and they join our army directly, which can be a very good way to grow your army when you've exhausted other sources. Sometimes it's even more affordable to do it this way, but there is a risk that they choose to say no. For example, like this. Sometimes they say no and they quit working for you even. So I can hire the Duskmen, and by hiring them, every year I pay them a fee, but other groups cannot use them. You can hire all of them and clog the mercenary system so that it can't be used by anyone, but of course at your own expense. You don't have to hire them permanently. You can hire them for a single attack. In this case, this is how it goes. You choose your enemy. In this case, we'll choose the Bandit Horde. Then we get to choose the type of attack. In this case, we'll choose a skirmish, and we'll watch it. And we see the Berserk Warrior Clerics not doing so well there, and they're probably going to die. And yep, they're dead, so the leader... Ah well, so now they're gone. Next year there'll be a different group there. Now these goblins, as I suspected, it's not always the case with goblins, but because I allow goblin slavery, this goblin mercenary group is not interested in working for me. Some goblin mercenary groups don't really care, but this is one of many reasons why some players may consider not enslaving goblins. Now, if it comes to the point where I've hired, destroyed, or I'm not able to use any of the remaining groups, one option you may consider is putting out the call for more mercenary groups. Now, it's not so expensive at first, and this slowly cools off and gets cheaper again over time. But now it'll cost 5 times as much to do the same. And every slot that wasn't containing a group that was hired immediately has their group replaced by a new group. Now in this case we've got a goblin group that wants to work for me and one that doesn't, and lots of new groups. And we can continue doing this for a while. Now it's 5,000, and now it's 10,000, but I can't afford that. But mercenaries are a very interesting part of the game. One of the things you'll notice is that they have, in this case, 5 attacks per year. So what this means is that you can use this same group multiple times to chop away at one of your enemies. The Duskmen have 3 attacks per year, and those reset at the end. Some groups don't have very many attacks, and some are full of them. But given that the player at the start of the game often only has 1 attack per year they can do, even one mercenary group already offers you 5 times as many attacks. And by utilizing all mercenary groups, you can end up growing dramatically fast if there's a weak faction you can chip away and steal land from. So, do not forget mercenaries as a tool of fighting in Slumbox. And yeah, that's as much as I've got really on the mercenaries. There are little bits here and there, little hidden things. It's not just goblins. You can also find demons and others, but they are quite rare. So yeah, that's it for now. If you've got any questions at all, we've got a very active Discord, and any other questions at all, hit me up in the comments here or anywhere else, and I'll try and get back to you. But that has been another beginner's guide to Warsim. Thank you very much for watching.